You're listening to Jamie's Local Love, the podcast, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.
Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Jamie Soretta. On this podcast, we celebrate everything local in Arizona. And I recently visited a really cool place I think that you should check out, too. It is called the Hive on 16th. I have the owner with me, Tennille Nielsen. Tennille, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So it's the Hive on 16th. You guys are on 16th Street in Osborne. Tell me what's going on over there.
Okay, so it's an art enclave made up of 13 working studios. So these are studios that are functioning artist studios. So you have a painting studio, a ceramic studio, and they're actually doing work when you come in and shop. So it's almost like having a mini gallery within an art studio.
The space alone is gorgeous. You have what you call the backyard, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you have a coffee shop right out front.
Yep.
And then you have another courtyard. So the space feels great on a beautiful Arizona day.
Yes, for sure. There's a lot of space in the back. Great for seating. We have a lot of games for family. If you bring your children, it's dog friendly. The backyard has a lot of space, and it's kind of unique because you can walk up to the coffee window, grab a drink, and then have someone doing art. One of the renters out back, perhaps spray painting or perhaps cutting, so you can walk up and check them out. No one cares. They'll let you walk in and out of studios. It's the experience of just being able to get your eyes on how the product or these art pieces are created from scratch.
Right. And so you can meet the artists right in that space where they're creating this thing that you may take home with them. I took something home with me.
It's true.
So let's talk about that because you were showing me around, because you have a space in there.
Yes.
You have things that you have collected as far as vintage, beautiful clothing.
Yes.
And items. And then you are also a maker as well.
Yes.
But it was in your space that I found a piece of artwork from someone else, from a maker?
Yes. So because we really focus on artists, we have 2 resale shops that were grandfathered in the sale. Oh. So what we do is we support local art within our resale shops. Mm-hmm. So we will do a focus. So you bought a piece from Phil Freedom, and he is my focused artist it's actually he's been there for like 3 months now, or almost 6 months now.
Very focused on Phil.
Yeah,
Phil
very
Freedom.
focused on Phil. He keeps bringing me new stuff, and it just keeps lighting up my shelves. So Julia tends to, in her resale shop, the Bee's Knees, she'll rotate monthly with artists going in and out. Yeah. But I kind of just like Phil being there.
Yeah. Well, he has obviously great artwork that I liked and took home with me. And so it's a picture of what? A glamorous blonde with a bear behind her, giving her a bear hug. Do you know what the meaning was behind this piece of
No,
work?
I think his concepts are just... The thing that caught me the most is the bear has a mustache.
Yes.
So it almost feels like, to me, and this is my interpretation, everyone, is that this bear is this, sly, devilish guy, overbear guy who's got the lady that everyone wants because she's just fabulous. And so I kind of feel like, I don't know what his concept was. It's a great question, actually, but it's cool.
It is cool.
It's very cool.
I liked it because she reminded me of Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes.
She had a swoop that I used to do a big swoop with my hair.
Yes.
And then I liked that she was friends with the bear. So
Yes, it
what
was
someone
friendly.
else might have been afraid of, she made friends with
Yes.
the bear in the room, if you will.
Yes.
So that's kind of how I saw it, was that she had tackled a fear or could make friends with something that people fear.
Yeah,
That's how I saw it. So
totally.
I saw it very powerful.
Yeah, and those glasses, the frames, on her are dynamite.
We need to find some of those.
I know, we sure do.
So you mentioned Julia, and we want to mention Julia.
Sure.
Tell me about Julia was the original owner of the space, and was it an artist where artists bartered there?
Yes, originally it was a bungalow home on a parking lot. Then it turned into an insurance company, and then in 2008, her and Steve bought it and turned it into an artist space. But it was really meant for community, doing services and for space.
Yeah.
So you'd have someone come in and do some maintenance or keep something maintained, and then they could have a space. So it was like a bartering system, an old school, fabulous bartering system.
Yeah.
And so when I purchased it right at the beginning of COVID, there was only 4 working studios. We had 2 architects, Carrie, Mermaid Jewelry, and then Julia Bee's Knees was up front. And there was a coffee shop that was off of 16th Street. We have downsized that because during COVID, you couldn't fit 2 people in there 6 feet apart. So we put it on the back of the Hive with a 4,000 square foot backyard with the patches. If you saw the green patches, those are all 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
So we made it easy for you to still come down and stay near your neighbor without it being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So so she's there now still, and Bee's Knees is located off the courtyard.
Yeah. And let's drive there and then walk there, because I think I was on 16th Street and I was heading south. Did I pass Osborne, or is it right before Osborne?
It's Thomas, actually.
It's Thomas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw you
And
light up
so-
when I said Osborne.
I know.
I knew I did something wrong, so it was Thomas. Sorry.
It's okay. So sorry.
Yeah.
My eyes are big. I'm
They
like,
were
that's all right.
I'm like,
No
yeah, but I
problem.
better revisit where exactly you are. Okay, so,
So-
16th Street and Thomas.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
and Cypress is the immediate street off of 16th,
Okay.
the low side street, and we are located in the historic Coronado neighborhood.
Yeah. And so you want to park along the street there?
Yeah, absolutely. All down Cypress. And, we recommend, and there is a 10% discount if you roller skate over, if you golf cart over, if you bike over, if you skateboard over, whatever means except for driving, we will, give you a 10% discount in the
For
shops.
alternative wheels.
Yes. Yes.
What if we walk?
You walk, that's even better.
Okay.
And you got dog treats if you bring your dogs.
Then let's walk through the space, because you enter right there. You might want to.
Sure.
You make it really fun for us to do some errands.
Yes.
Which can kind of be boring.
Yes.
But you can come in, you get your coffee, you're
Yes.
walking your dog. The refillery is right there, so you have lots of
Yes.
options. Tell me what's happening with the refillery.
Okay, if you're entering off of 16th Street through the backyard, which is a double gate that's always open from 7 a.m. on, you are going to see the coffee window be on the right, and then on your left-hand side is Naked Fig Soap, which is a place where they create soaps,
Yeah.
and within that is a refillery. And then right beyond that, we have Doors the Florist, which is about a 70-square-foot half-door window walk-up where you can get some fresh flowers. And then as you enter into the courtyard and you take a right, there's alterations. So you can drop off your alterations while your coffee's being made. And then we start with the ceramics, or right after, and then This Will Stick is there as well, the painting gentleman, painting studio. And then we go into the front room. We're still on the right-hand side of the courtyard.
I like how you're visualizing
I
it.
know.
You're
My eyes
watching
are
it.
closed.
I'm visualizing too. I'm watching it too. we have video from our local love that we
Yeah.
shot together, so we'll use that for people who watch. But if
Yes.
not, you're mapping it out
Okay,
beautifully.
good.
Okay, so we passed the ceramic guy. Now we're heading into your space.
Yes, you come up through the back, and Mermaid Jewelry has a small corner studio as you come in, across from the most amazing changing lounge in town.
Yes, agreed.
And then Composite Boutique, which is the resale boutique. You do pass a small little area of Collage Escape, and that's my collaging studio that's located within the shop.
Okay, so you're an artist as well. Tell me about that
Yes.
artwork.
It started when I lived in New York City. There was a lot of stuff on the ground when I was walking my dog. So I just started collecting this stuff. And then my husband's like, what are you going to do with that stuff? And I was like, well, I think I'm just going to stick it
Yeah.
a lot to anything. So I have cell phones, I have old stuff, and so I created the Dog Walk series, is how it all started. And then as it progressed, and when I moved here, I do collage escape. I create escapes for people, either an art form or a journal form. We can do it custom to someone's dreams and their aspirations, or what they've gone through in terms if there's any trauma, or we can, I can create, which I do, a ton of them, which kind of feeds all of my personalities. So you can come in and open the books, the front cover, the back cover, and then the inside covers are done by hand. And if I can find it on the ground and I can glue it to a book, it's going to be on that book.
Oh, my goodness.
So I have art books and journals, and then as you go through Composite Boutique, then you enter into where the Hive on 16th entrance is, which is the front entrance, and we have a tattoo shop, amazing, Misty, and then we have Kevin,
Yes.
our favorite punk artist, and Not a Myth. And then we actually have Bee's Knees right in the corner.
And so Bee's Knees, she has vintage items.
Yes, it's a resale shop as well.
And then we have the man who does the leather studding, right?
Yes,
The
Not a
studding.
Myth. That's
Not
Kevin.
a myth. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So I love that I can go get my coffee, maybe pick up some flowers for someone later, maybe get a nice present. Or those little miniature paintings. I think the painter's wife
Yes.
does the little miniature
Yes.
ones. I love those. They're so cool. And then find something cool at your boutique. Maybe get a journal.
Yeah.
I mean, so many things that can get done in that one space.
Yes.
And you get to meet the people who are making those items. So that is really unique. And that's what really kind of sparked all this for you, right?
Yes. I was born in Maine, but I grew up in New England, and I got to New York City about later in life. But I assumed that you could just walk into an artist studio and see them working and then buy their goods. Well, that wasn't the case.
In New York?
In New York. It just wasn't. It was too, that might have happened in the 70s and the 80s, but when I went there, it was not happening. You just went to galleries. And galleries can be fun, but slightly intimidating.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, we had a gallery in there originally, and I did turn it into 2 separate working studios because I felt like I don't know, a generation wants more of an experience.
Yeah.
So you can see a gallery, you can sense the different vibe from every artist. Like when you go into Kevin's spot, you know the music's going. He's got some great punk music going. And then when you go from him to the ceramicist, he may have jazz going, but you feel a change as soon as you enter in someone's space. And so it can be slightly intimidating for shoppers.
Yeah.
So we try to let them know that, any door that's unlocked, just walk into it. You're going to have an experience. Everyone's very sweet and very kind.
Yeah. And they're used to it. They know you're coming. It's not like, what are you doing in my workspace? This is my private space. So this is why they are in that space too. They welcome that experience too.
And we're trying to create things that aren't quite the same as everywhere else, right? So I feel like Hive is an OG building. It has been full of OG artists for a very long time. So our next step, we have a photographer moving in November 1st.
Cool, yes.
Brother and sister team, they're amazing. And then we have a 1967 Shasta in the back, a camper, if you'd noticed it in the corner. And we're going to turn that into a 24-hour photo booth.
Oh.
So, yeah.
So 2 a.m. after some cocktails down the road.
I actually should. I'm going to take that back because I should. We close at 10 p.m. Nothing is open there past 10 p.m.
There you go.
So sorry. So 7 a.m. to 10 p.m.
All right. Well, 7 a.m. could still be a rough photo.
Yeah. Let's just say when the Hive hours are open that day,
yes. So,
you can access it.
Yes.
And you can print them off right there. So that's our next project we're working on.
Cool.
And then we have another space inside that we're kind of a secret project we're kind of working on. Which we're trying to do, we're looking at like a microgreen, like a grow house, so then you can pick up your greens when you come to get your refill, when you come to get your coffee, then you drop your alterations. So I'm trying to make it, we're trying, but those are all lots of little details.
I mean, I love that because like I said earlier, it's like the coolest place to do some of your errands.
Yeah.
Get it all done. Feels good.
Yeah.
You get to meet the people. And, I recently ran out of liquid soap and I thought, oh, this container I need to keep.
Yes.
So I can go up to the refillery
Yes.
and refill there.
Yes.
People are so conscious of this now. So it makes sense for them to know where it's located and then to bundle that experience so they can get other things done too. And then also enjoy because First Fridays are rocking over there. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. They've done First Fridays for a very long time. Steve and Julia would put it on and get it promoted for. We do invite all visiting artists. Let me step back a little bit. So when we rent a space, these are rentals. We only rent to one medium at a time. We don't want to create a conflict.
Right.
So we have one painter, and if that painter leaves, then we have a list of painters to invite to rent from us. But when it comes to First Friday, it's all for the next 3 hours. There can be doubles and triples of everything.
Yeah.
So we don't charge a fee for visiting artists. They don't have to pay me a percentage. That goes for food. That goes for all the artists in the front and in the back courtyard. We can get a lot of artists in there. I feel like I came as a visiting artist, and I didn't have to give away a percentage. Julia never took money from me, so we just hyper-focus on letting the artist still exist. It's hard enough, and if you've seen the memes on Instagram, like what people do to create, if it's off their dining room or in their bedrooms or in their bathrooms, they're creating these things. So now it's time to let them just shine for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And so they can do very well. We do spread out the invitation. So if you're a visiting artist, I would say, check back with us in 3 months. We don't want it the same artist there, and especially when it's a free event for them, we want to spread the word and let a lot of artists take advantage.
Yeah. So you've mentioned Maine, you've mentioned New York City. How'd you end up in Arizona?
Okay, so I was a makeup artist for a very long time for MAC Cosmetics.
Cool.
And we were in Manhattan, and my husband got a job offer here. And I thought, well, I could do makeup anywhere. It's not so bad. Let's go. I'm kind of over the city. It was a lot. And I think going there as an adult, it was much easier to be in control.
In New York?
Yeah, New York City. Because if I went there when I was 21, it would have been a different story. And I don't know if I'd ever be here. But I was ready. It was getting really overcrowded. And I thought, we actually researched and saw that Arizona was Phoenix was one of the biggest growing cities, fastest growing. So I thought, well, why not go to a place that we can still put a stamp on and perhaps maybe teach some things. So I actually taught at the cosmetology school in Mesa.
Oh, cool.
for a little while doing a Mac program, a Mac training program. And so that's how we end up getting here.
Oh, how cool.
I
Are you
know.
glad you moved here, especially before the pandemic out of New York City?
Oh, yeah. We talk about that all the time. We actually talked about it last night.
Really?
Yeah, because we had a guest friend in from New York, or back east, I should say, and it was like much more difficult for them. They couldn't go outside. It was much colder. And here we're just like outside all the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's been 10 years. We made it 10 years in July.
Oh, wow.
We've been here.
Well, we claim you now.
I
Now
know,
you can
that's
call
it.
yourself a Zoni.
Yes. From
That's
a
awesome.
Maynard to a Zoni.
I love it. And that's a long way, Maine to Arizona. Oh, my goodness. So what do you love about Arizona then?
Okay, I love the season now.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
season that's coming.
now. Now.
Yes.
So the good season, the fall, the winter-ish.
Yes. And I don't mind the summer.
Mm-hmm.
If you are able to drive to Flagstaff, it really is tolerable if you can just get out and do lots of outdoor sports.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's growing before your eyes. So I do feel like we're a part of seeing a city explode. Downtown is just, and the skyline changes every time I leave and come back. I'm like, oh,
Isn't it
is that
wild?
building there?
Yeah.
Not before. So, and you can see all the businesses moving in and everyone getting excited from the each coast. I mean, I hear daily, we'll have young shoppers in the store and being like, this could be like the next LA. And blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, let's go. This could be the next New York, too. So I feel like there's an equal amount of people coming in from the West
interesting.
Coast and from the East Coast.
Okay.
Yep.
So when people are visiting and they hear about you guys, how are they hearing about you?
Google. We're a huge Google. And you know what? The thing is that these are 13 individually run businesses. So me as a rental property, I can advertise what's going on in here, but each business has usually a Google account. So if you're looking for an artist, a painter, you're going to Google painter and this will pop up. Or mermaid jewelry pops up, I think, #1 for handmade jewelry.
Wow.
So Hive it is on local first. We've done, we hyper focus on Google.
Yeah.
You know, as an art enclave. But really, Hive is more, people come, like I use the analogy of it being like the mall. Like I'll unlock the gate, the mall will be open, but each store inside has their own hours, has their own business that they run. So you really want to check the business before you come down into it. I mean, you can always go into one of the other things that's open, but if you're specifically looking for an art form, I would look up that store exactly, the business exactly.
I like to give people who are either business owners or want to be business owners some information and some insight. You mentioned that you hyper focus on Google. Why Google? Has that really helped attract more business?
Yeah, and as a business owner, it's free.
Yeah.
And especially, people say this, oh, we love your small businesses. Small businesses have 500 employees or less. Micro businesses have, I think it's 100 employees or less. We are one employee.
Yes.
I don't even think there's a term for us. So when you can, anything for free,
Owned
so
and
if you can
operated,
open up a Google account for free, then you just start. The people are Google all the time.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
they use Google. So if you're on there, people are willing and able to find you. And it's, like I say again, it's free.
Are you doing anything different to make your searches come up before others?
No, that's not allowed on Google. It would literally be based on reviews and people searching you out.
So the Google reviews.
Yeah,
are allowed.
yeah. So I just, Hive itself has grown since we started. We haven't really had a none. You can push through your TikTok reels, your Instagram. You can push people to your website with a mention, it's called. And then those mentions just lead right to the website. So I think mentioning your business a lot helps, because then it just drives people. Or saying, if you go to my business, go to my website, then this is what you can get. So it's all kind of, you just got to be creative in your drive there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely, out and about, people always want Google reviews. They want the reviews more. So that must help push them to the top of the search or something.
Yeah, the more reviews, and I don't, it's really hard. It's really hard to ask someone. I just, if you have a great experience, or, I want to know everything. Because it is my property, and if something's not right happening when you're on the property, I want to know good or bad. Good thing we haven't had any bad reviews, but I'm just saying, there could. It's kind of it helps you, and if you're willing to grow, you grow from some challenges and you grow from successes.
Yeah. Information is power.
Yes,
right?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So you are a property owner now. Have you been in this role before? You're a landlord for these artists.
Yeah.
What new challenges do you face in this space?
I think that's it. Being a landlady or
Yes.
queen, whatever
what
we
did
want to
come
call
up
it.
with?
What did you say?
Land goddess.
Land goddess.
Land goddess. That's my new goal.
I'm not afraid to get dirty.
Yeah.
So I just know that if it's not a first Friday or Saturday or Sunday in my weekdays, I'm going to be prepared to do some landlady stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I like being on site, and I feel like the renters are kind of comfortable with me being there as well, for air conditioning needs. Number one thing
Very
in Arizona.
important.
But any other needs, just anything. If a lock goes, if something happens, I have a great maintenance guy I have that we work with who's on call for us all the time. So I feel like, and I'm kind of a control freak in terms of the way that I like things done.
Yeah.
But I can, every day before I leave and my shop closes, I walk the property. There's garbage flies in from wind, and I just am really, I like, because we have the double, like I told you, the double gate in the back. So when you drive down Cypress, you can see into the huge backyard. So at all times, I want that backyard to look immaculate.
Yeah.
You know, I want people to feel like, oh God, I can't wait for that place to open. I want to go check it out.
Yeah.
Especially now the photo booth's going to be there.
Yeah.
You got to come and check it out.
7 a.m. Take my picture. That's awesome. But then you're also managing people.
Yes.
Rent is due.
Yes.
How does that role in that space change for you?
Okay, so in my Mac role, I was really trainer and manager of
Okay, so
different
you are-
locations. Yeah, I have a really great connection with people,
Nice.
and that means at any level of status. You know, I work with people who come onto the property who aren't necessarily they don't have their, I don't want to say the term, there's a new term for it, but they don't have a place to live permanently.
Oh,
so we have people
experiencing
come,
homelessness.
Yes, experiencing homelessness. Thank you. And so I have an additional $5-10, and I'll just ask them to clean up the front garden. It's like, so we work with the community there, and that actually helps us because it's still just an open space that a lot of people walk into. Collecting rents is really easy. I'm not there to babysit.
Yeah.
I'm just really there as Composite Boutique. But if there are challenges, life is life. And I don't have an expectation that everything's going to run perfectly. So I am willing to listen. I think communication is 100%. I'm from the East Coast, so I'm very direct.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be very scary to
Yes.
people. But I leave an open door. And if things happen, we have had some pretty intense situations with renters in the past 3 years, and it's just driven by COVID or family and stuff that's out of their hands.
Yeah.
So you got to be open-minded, and you have to just be kind, and you have to be willing to support them no matter what. I mean, everyone's in there for the same reason. All these artists really don't have another place to go that they can do their goods and sell them and afford it.
Right.
Because the rents out there are very expensive.
Yeah, for everything.
Yeah, so we just we take care of utilities. We're kind of hoping that they incubate themselves. They learn the really tough challenges, ups and downs of running a business in a safe, sacred place. And then when they're ready to go, all they'll have to deal with is the utilities and some other things that they don't have to deal with now. But I feel like you figure out in a year if this is what you want to do or not.
Really?
I feel like, and then you can stay there forever. I mean, I'm not going to ever kick anyone out.
Yes.
So, and we hyper focus, like I said, on people working in their studios. So if people come, they want to do, like I said, the 2 boutiques are grandfathered in. But if those boutiques go, they're just going to turn into another working studio because we think it's great that you can walk into a space and see someone creating.
Right. So the 2 boutiques that are grandfathered in, that's with Julia?
Yep, that's Bee's Knees and a Composite Boutique, which is
yours.
owned by Janine before I bought it. And then when I bought the building. So they were already there, and I wasn't going to kick them out.
Right.
They're great. They're resale shops, and she's been there forever. So they're really a nice accoutrement too. If you're waiting for coffee or a really great avocado toast to be ready, you can just come up and shop.
I mean, you dropped so many of my favorite words. Accoutrement is one of them. And then you hit me with avocado toast. I just went blank. But I wanted to ask about Composite Boutique because when I went and visited you, you said to me, we've got all kinds of sizes.
Yes.
And that was really important to you, that offer all kinds of ranges and all kinds of different styles. Tell me where you're curating these items from, what we can find in there.
Okay, so back when I was 17 years old, I started collecting tag sales, and I would just collect bags and bags. So I thought I was going to open Nash Consignment. It's going to be my consignment shop. I wrote a business plan. Well, fast forward many 30-something, 40 years, and this came about that I could get into this. But it was really important to me because not everyone is a size 2. And if you are dealing with vintage, vintage is small.
Yeah.
And so I shop. This is how I do it. People tend to like how I dress, so I tend to just shop what I would wear in a size 2 to a 22.
Right.
So if I was that human, and I do try on, because sometimes even when it says a size 10 or a 12 or a 14, because I'm tall and I'm broader in the shoulders, I mean, things fit really oddly. So I'll try anything on just to kind of give a verbal,
It's kind of what's tight here or whatever.
yeah, and I like it to be a safe space because there isn't a lot of cool boutiques that have. I have 20, 22, 24, and I have clients that come in and I'll be like, Elizabeth, I found this for you. I've got this in the back for you because I thought you would wear it. And it is. And it's like because a lot of people who aren't a small size will come in and they don't even look at the racks. They just go straight to the home decor because they're
the
not
purses
thinking.
or
because
shoes,
they're
things
not
will fit.
thinking.
Yeah.
So I'll just interrupt them and be like, listen, I shop for this place. If you're looking for anything in particular, you let me know. And then they'll say, well, you probably don't have my size. And then they'll start by saying, I'm just looking for a skirt. So then I'll take them over and we start finding the stuff that they want, and they're in the fitting room, and then it's just changed their day.
Yeah.
And they get a piece. So it's very important to me to have all different sizes, and in really gender fluid clothes. Anyone can wear anything. So I say clothes for all.
Yeah. And it's important. Well, you have that knack and that style. Plus, then you know what you have curated in your shop. I get very uncomfortable in that type of situation. We're trying on sizes. Well, a vintage size versus I get overwhelmed very easily with that. So to have you guide someone through is just such a gift.
Yeah, and we, like I said, I mentioned the changing lounge before. We made the changing lounge a place where you can. It's not neon lights. It's very warm. If you want to sit down, take a break on the bench, just to take in what you look like, what you're fitting, and then if you need a couple people in there with you, we've made it big enough. It's very large, and so I feel like it has to be a safe space from the fitting room on out.
And there's a mirror there too.
Yes, a large,
because
very
sometimes
large
you're
mirror.
forced out into the room. I
Yes.
hate when I am in a tiny dressing room and now I'm forced out of it, and I don't know what this outfit looks like.
Right.
And now people are commenting, and I don't know what it looks like. I have to look in front of the mirror in front of everybody else.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And then we have people who are not shy at all. So I do have one long mirror out, and people will just start changing there.
Oh,
and I'm like, well, okay.
In the changing room.
I was like, there's space. We have the space for that. And then the changing lounge also, I have a lot of. Okay, well, first of all, Tidy Spaces did the changing lounge, and it's in Coronado, a small duo that redoes rooms, and there's some cards in there if you ever want it, because they were one of our renters at the beginning. And
is it called Tidy?
Tidy Spaces, yeah, they're amazing.
Organizers?
TYDY. Oh, yeah, they can organize, and they can do. The restroom was a 1970s insurance bathroom before. So if you saw the before and afters, it's quite a change.
Oh, wow.
But in there, I had them put a lot of hangers with some positive, just some things. If you're picking up the thing you've chosen off the little hook, there's something positive,
nice.
And then I put a lot of lingerie in there or pieces that people want to try on, but they don't want to walk through the store with.
Oh my gosh, stop it. You're so smart.
Because I think about if we have skims or old, because in vintage clothing, there's a lot of slips involved.
Yeah.
Things are much more sheer, and you need a little bit. So I put all those in there, and then people have come out and said, I would never try this on unless it was in there. And I'm like, I know, girl, I got you.
I knew that. How'd you learn that?
I just felt like one day there was a swimsuit in a shop that was in there, and I was like, oh, I would have never walked through the store with this in my arm, but now it's in here, I'm just going to try it on, and then I end up buying it. So I thought, well, if things are in here that are a little more risque, or perhaps you don't want people to think you need a fitter, then it's in there. No one will never know you need it.
A fitter.
Like a
trainer?
Skims or
I love. Well, I love all those things.
Me too.
Hard yes to all of it.
Yeah, and we have vintage pieces that are like that. So some people like the ones with the garter straps and the waist high. So I just put them all in there, and then you can try it on, and bras, things like that people want, but they just don't want to. They also don't want to be looking at it in front of other people on the rack.
Yeah.
So
finding their size, etc.
Yeah.
What do you for someone who would be looking at you thinking, how can I do this? How can I build some collaborative space for artists? What kind of obstacles did you have to overcome that, had I known this better, I would have done better in this moment? What would you tell someone?
I would say keep an open mind, but stick to what you want to do. I think that through the building process, I learned a lot dealing with contractors, and I did it all. I was there for every step of the way. So don't be afraid to speak up and I think that's in general in life, but when you're really dealing with something that's being built or changed because you want it that way, you just have to stick your ground and don't move, don't budge. It doesn't matter if it comes to money or, things that feel like they're out of your power, because most of the time they're not. Everyone's human. You just have to be like, really? Does it have to be that way? And then really get a description. But I think a lot of the challenges was when people saw the space, they were like, well, you should have it be this, and you should make it this, and you should have this. And it can become overwhelming, but I say, because people couldn't understand that I wanted these artists to have space and opportunity. It could be, of course, I can commercialize it in a heartbeat. I can get all commercial boutiques in there, and then I can create, and I can jack the rent up a lot. It's not what I'm here for. Yeah. And I'm not, and the building's not there for that. It doesn't feel that way when you walk in. So I feel like I stuck to my guns and have gotten a lot of slack for it, but I love it. And so I feel like that's what comes through, the good energy and the love for it.
Yeah. I think you should be held up for that,
Thanks.
for sticking to your guns and knowing what you want. And on these podcasts, a lot. One of my interviews with ATL Wings, he said that vision, the vision I had, it was for me, it was my vision. So a lot of people couldn't see it, but he saw it, and now they have a huge franchise of their wing shop. Genius. You know what I mean? But I think it gets discouraging, and then you use the word, you should. I had a friend who said, don't shoot all over me,
Yes.
like that when people tell you they're trying to give you advice, or be helpful, or just kind of throw out their 2 cents.
Yeah.
But it's their 2 cents, and it's not your vision.
Right.
And what you have created is such a beautiful, fun space, and it seems like people enjoy working alongside each other. Yeah. And that's so important too.
Yeah, think about the collabs. I mean, when we first got alterations is new, and I thought, well, wow, that's, that you can get alterations. That seems very commercial. But a tailor and an alterations or a seamstress is an art form that, I'm talking about making something from nothing or repairing a zipper. These are things that can't be done typically, right? Unless you go to someone. So we brought someone in, and now she works with both the resale shops because she can expand clothing by adding elastic. She can take clothing in, she can add zippers. So now I even shop differently. Like I wouldn't maybe bypass that vintage dress because it had a rip down the side. That's a delicate material. Well, I know Victoria, and so on and so forth, she's going to be able to
She can fix that.
Yeah.
She got that.
And she and Kevin have done leather coats, the inseams of leather coats, taking out the whole shell of the inside. So they've collabed a lot together, which is polar opposites. Of the scale.
How fun.
So
Don't you
great.
love that? I love that. When opposites attract like that. So much fun.
Yes. And we have the ceramicist Dylan now, and I'm working with him because I really want to do like a Hive cup or a cup of some glasses. So we're going to be working. So everyone kind of just walks across the court and it's like, hey, you want to do something together? Yeah, sure. And then they start collabing. So and the energy is always there. It's full of artists. So there's a lot of, whoa, squirrel. But then we hyper focus back, and then we're like, wait, back to what we're doing.
The squirrel. Hate the squirrel.
Yes. Then the squirrel's on roller skates because it has to go somewhere.
Then it gets a discount, 10% off. What a blast. So we're going into the holiday season. People are going to be wanting to shop. I highly encourage them, of course, to shop local. Yes. And then at your place, they can come in and meet the ceramic artist who's making the mug that they're going to give to grandma, et cetera, and hear the story behind it, learn the inspiration. I should mention that piece of art that I bought was $50.
Right.
So rather affordable price point, which is so important, especially right now, to get something meaningful at a decent dollar point.
Absolutely. As the holiday comes, you still can come in right now and have a custom piece ready. So if you come in and you see something, for instance, I have a cousin who's in town, and she went into This Will Stick, and he painted this beautiful eye, and it was a very small eye in a frame. And he said, I can make you any color eye. So if it's something that's, if you like everything about it, I can custom make it for you. And most of the prices don't really vary that much. It's still going to be the same size, the same piece. It will just take time, and then you can go in and pick it up. But Kevin does custom work on leather goods. If you want to, once Vivienne Westwood passed, unfortunately, the punk scene has come back a little bit. So a lot of people have stuff in their closet that can just be punkified, we call it. A little bit of an edge. And then, of course, mermaid jewelry, she can make anything out of anything. So if you have, I always say, like, if you have a pair of earrings, and she's turned a pair of earrings into a ring for me. So she also thinks outside. Every artist thinks outside the box. That's why I feel like we're not in this
cranking out the same thing over and over again. If there's that broken piece of jewelry that you just don't know what to do with, but you can't give it up.
Right.
Carrie can repurpose it and make it something that you can wear daily.
Yeah, and she creates everything from scratch. So her original pieces are great right now. But she will help with fixing, and now she's doing some things with vintage watches or making a comeback. So she's doing that. And then, photographer. And it is, I sometimes think, wow, photography is what a difficult job, because everyone has a cell phone now, But when they create things and experiences with photographers, it's a different level.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's still a great
for sure.
job.
Yes.
And then, of course, the florist. If you have an occasion, you can get dresses altered and get the bouquets made, and refillery. Kids going back to college, you got your spaghetti jars. Send them on to college. Do a little basket of here's your dorm goods.
Yeah, you're supposed.
And they'll feel better.
And one of the things I saw that I really liked was the little carrier cup with the coffee and then the bouquet of flowers. Yeah. That would just brighten anyone's day, and just what a beautiful way to just pair those two gifts.
Absolutely. And we are close to, we say always to create something that can fit in a suitcase or something that you can ship. So there's a lot of variety of sizes too. So if you're just visiting and you just got in at the airport, a lot of people are coming from the airport so close.
Oh, yeah.
And you can leave luggage because it's a huge space. But they can shop right then. And we do ship. And in Coronado, we have a golf cart. So if there's anything within our historic neighborhood or just all of Coronado, we can deliver it.
Oh my gosh, stop.
I know.
Now I got to move to Coronado. Just to get a delivery.
Such a great place. So we offer a lot.
Cool.
There's a lot to be had there.
Yeah. What are you loving in Arizona right now? What are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you doing? What are you just loving?
Okay, so I'm finally leaving the Coronado neighborhood. I feel like Hive is getting to the point where I can have really great nights out and really test some food. I actually had Dahlia's tapas last night, which was excellent. And on 7th Street, the old Rice Paper. That's where Rice Paper was originally.
Okay.
And I love, I'm going to give a shout out to Sushi Holic in Arcadia.
Yes, love.
I love the one across the street it looks almost nautical inside. North.
Oh, yes.
Right,
the time
right across, right there. And then, I'm going to check out Thunderbird Lounge one of these 80s nights.
Oh, my gosh.
So we're going to do that. That's
Have
on
you
the
been
books.
there before?
No, it'll be my first time.
Oh, it's very cool.
It is?
Yeah,
I
very
can't
big.
wait.
Your vibe, for sure.
Okay,
they have
good.
a backyard and everything.
Wow.
And they do markets sometimes, too. Bring in a bunch I got a fabulous coat there once. Vintage. Gorgeous. I'll have to send you a picture. It's really cool.
We have a lot of photos to swap.
Very cool. Yes. Yeah, we have a lot of photos. I told Tennille that I would send her a photo of that picture that I got with the blonde with the bear. The blonde with the bear. And it hangs above my vanity. So to me, it's a powerful piece.
Yeah.
And it's a place where I'm getting ready. I'm just kind of chilling and zoning out, and I look at her every single day. That cool pic.
That's so great.
Yeah, it's very neat.
So great. I get downtown. I've gone into Palabra. I get my hair done by Priscilla and Palabra. I have for 10 years. I've been here.
Oh, wow.
Then I do Bespoken for color. I mean, I'll spread my love out everywhere.
Yeah.
But I do love. In our neighborhood, there's a lot to do in Coronado. And I think 16th Street, I think it's just the iceberg.
Yeah.
I think 16th Street's going to be one of those places that it's going to have a lot on it. Because there's a lot of availability, a lot of empty buildings still. Cool empty buildings down along McDowell. And the new apartment buildings along 7th Street. I mean, it's going to be booming.
Yeah.
So I feel like McAlpines. If you haven't gone to McAlpines
yes.
and had a chicken salad sandwich.
Well, they saved that place because that place was on the verge a couple times, and it's a legendary place here in town. Yeah, gotta get pie. Pie
and the thrift store next door that's connected. Have you gone in and shopped?
Yes.
Yeah, I found some real good stuff there too. Yep. So I feel like Arizona has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
And I love wander spaces in the Scottsdale Mall and the old theater. I mean, the movie theater. Yeah, I think it was right originally.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a place that you can kind of go and. I don't know. It's a great experience there, and I tell everybody. Oh, and the Deuce. And so anyone who comes, I'm like, if you love the Hive, you're gonna love the Deuce.
Yeah, for sure.
And so you have to check out the Deuce, and then there was another place that I send. Oh, and I love Modern Manor with the restaurant. You can get some really beautiful. Yeah, isn't that like a Melrose area?
Yes, it's 7th Ave, I believe. I think it's on the way to work. aggressive.
Yeah, it's a great space. And now they have a restaurant inside, so you can enjoy some. They had a cute event going on at one point, but I went in there. Yeah, now I'm feeling like, and I work Wednesday through Sunday there. So, and sometimes actually I'm trying to take Sundays off.
Yes.
So I'll be only there Wednesday through Saturday.
Okay, good.
And then I'll have the goody days to start spreading my wings. And now the weather's great. I can get on my bike. And a lot of people don't know about our alleys and our little walkways. What are they called? Canals.
Yeah, canal.
You know, I've jumped on my bike and gone for long, long rides or dog walks on the canal. I mean, it's there's a lot of things. You just have to talk to people and don't be afraid to try stuff.
Isn't it fun? I think you
is.
gave a great little tour of Phoenix with your little list of recommendations.
Thanks.
Very cool. But definitely make sure Hive on 16th is on your recommendation list because it is a place to be. Tennille, thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate your time today.
I appreciate you and thank you again.
Thanks for listening to Jamie's Local Love, the podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Soretta. Our technician is Tom Heidinger. Our editors are Lorraine Shearing and Gina Coy. Do you know a business worthy of some local love? Email me at jsoretta@azfamily.com. Follow us at facebook.com/Soretta and Instagram @Soretta News. Make sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star review, please. And tell your friends about the podcast and the businesses we feature to show your local love. You can find us on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and anywhere you get your podcasts.
Jamie's Local Love, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.